It's time to rate the best World Cup performances that we've seen so far. So we've seen a couple of games in these 5 days, and we're going to be rating who we think had the best performance. So Jimmy, do you want to get started?
Yeah, I can go first. I am going to give a shout out to the 22-year-old goalkeeper from Australia, Pat Beach. I thought he was tremendous. He only his third ever cap, the first a competitive cap, the other two were in friendlies. So for him to step up in that moment and to take over for the captain, Matt Ryan, and be like, I'm going to be the guy, was immense. Obviously, he had 8 saves against Turkey, and that's the most by a debutant in the World Cup since 2002. The most ever for an Australian goalkeeper in a World Cup match. So he's just got all kinds of records, and he stepped up and had a hell of a performance. He made some key saves, timely saves. You need a hot goalkeeper in these types of competitions if you're going to win a game, if you're going to go on to win the tournament. So I wanted to give him all of his flowers, and I'm hopeful that he has a terrible game in the next one against the U.S.
Tony,
that he got all of his good saves out in this one.
Show's back on track. We're giving a little goalkeeper love. So.
He's got to let Mbizo go.
I'm going to go with another guy who played his first World Cup game, and that was for the U.S., and that's Folarin Balogun. And maybe the fact that I saw it live gives me a different perspective. His movement was outstanding, obviously scoring 2 goals in this match. His hold-up play was incredible. His work off the ball was relentless. And just what he added to this group and what he gave this group, every time they needed an option, he was available for the U.S. team. And, of course, this is a guy that we courted for a year. We saw the basketball games and all the things that were going on to try and get him to come to the U.S. He had an opportunity to play for 3 different nations. He chose and looks like is really happy with his choice. This is where he wants to be. That's who I went with, JayDee, for my man so far as my best performance. What are we, 5 days into the World Cup?
It's going to be him versus Pat Beach in the next game, right? So we'll see. Balogun versus Beach.
I'm saying this again in a week.
Me too.
We've had a big discussion. Sorry, JayDee. I think we should talk a bit about Folarin Balogun because it's been such a big discussion in this World Cup so far. We've spoken on this desk before about, Landon had Clint. Do you think this is Christian has Flo? Sorry. Do you think that's the kind of partnership we're seeing?
So far, and we've kind of seen it growing for a little while. So I don't want to be like a one-off and just in one day, we change the narrative of our history and our game, right? Because Landon and Clint were so good. But there's no doubt that when I look at this group and I look at the way that they're playing, the ideas that they've had. And really, it was hard to convince people, the Belgium game, the Portugal game, that there were actually really good signs, right? Because you look at the result and you're like, oh, no, it's not good. You lost. But there were moments when they were on the field together that we started to see some things growing. Right, but it's hard when you concede 5 goals to convince anybody that anything is growing. We just saw a manager get fired at the World Cup conceding 5 goals. So, again, it's been growing little by little. They just put it together on the day. The hope, of course, is that you didn't shoot all your bullets on match day 1, right? And that's kind of where we're at.
Oh, my turn now?
Yes.
Oh, we balance it, right? Because I love the fact that we've picked about 2 individuals that are actually going head-to-head, but I'm actually going to take it out for a second and talk about a team. And I don't want to call them underdogs anymore because I think since 2002, since they've had an opportunity to host, I think for the last 20-odd years, we've seen in glimpses that Japan can really cause an upset over a lot of teams. I mean, let's not forget that in the previous World Cup, they actually topped a group that had, Spain and Germany in. They really showcase in terms of what they can do in the big moments. And what I love about this and why I wanted to spotlight them is they're actually a team. They're actually cohesive. They're not built in terms of with a lot of industry or they've got great technicians in there, great playmakers. They understand in terms of what the system's about, and they really utilize and help each other in terms of their strengths. There's no actual individual standout players. You have players with brilliance, but there's a lot of players that are very, very good. And I love the fact that they were able to be cohesive. Now, I take a note and I start looking at their history, and they've overcome Ghana, Bolivia, Scotland, England, Iceland, all without conceding. And of course, we saw what they did to Brazil most recently as well. I don't want to call them an underdog anymore because sometimes, especially with the smaller nations in terms of geographically, we go, oh, maybe they'll turn up, maybe they'll do okay. I think they're going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams in this World Cup. And if they can get some goals, oh, they're going to be an absolute problem.
I think what's interesting about Japan playing the Netherlands in particular, Japan played more like Netherlands historically do. So they were playing the more total football. And the Dutch were playing a little bit more on the front foot, but being a little bit more vertical in how they play, not necessarily to their stereotypical style. When we look at Morocco-Brazil, it was the same. Morocco was playing more like Brazil, and Brazil was playing this version that was a little bit more nonchalant. Maybe that's more Carlo Ancelotti. But it's just interesting that we have these nations that have probably been trying to aspire to these systems and these philosophies for so long. And now they're actually doing it against the nations that they're competing against. That's another reason why this World Cup is special.
Yeah, we did get a comment in the chat. What about Somerville scoring his first ever goal in a World Cup while just being selected for the Netherlands?
Well, he only just got selected literally the other day.
Yeah.
You know what it tells me about Somerville? He's not scared of the moment. Because to be selected for your nation, and I always defer to my guys who have represented their country, the emotion you must feel inside of here and feel like it's a pinnacle moment. It's okay if you have maybe a subpar or below level performance because you're trying to manage all of everything else that goes with it. Ticket requests, the fact that you're hitting a lifetime goal, the fact that you're representing your country and your journey that comes with it. But then to go in there and actually, probably the best finish I saw last night was incredible where he cut in and just put it away. It looked like he's ready for the moment.
And I think he's going to form a nice partnership and already did last night with Denzel Dumfries. I really feel like that right side of the Dutch is pretty superb.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying Japan-Netherlands has been the game of the tournament so far.